Zero brought the box office here, and we have very bad numbers for Disney. Essentially, yeah. So this is the box office numbers for all the movies, and Risk isn't doing too well. If you can see here, Risk is only number 3. Okay, we go to the previous chart. Risk opened to below. Why I said Risk might open to, but opened similarly to an animated opening. People said, "Oh, it's underestimated because it's an animated movie." Okay, I think, you know what? We'll listen to them. We'll give them the bone. Okay, but listen, it opened to 10 million, which means this movie is underperforming the expectations. Napoleon is, however, overperforming said expectations for the movie being released, outgrossing The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songs and Snakes. But again, that movie released last week. There is no numbers for Trolls at all for Wednesday. No numbers for Trolls, so we cannot really tell you Trolls is doing well on the Wednesday. For Thanksgiving, Hunger Games: Ballad of Songs and Snakes goes around 5.9 million. You would think there would be an increase, but again, a lot of people want to be with their families on Thanksgiving, so don't blame them for not wanting to go to the theaters. But Napoleon outgrossed Risk on its second week. And also the first second day, the first day does include the preview numbers, but these are bad numbers if it is true for Disney's Risk. Disney's Risk is performing so badly, it's dropped 53% on its Thanksgiving day. Okay, so it seems that Disney has another failure on their hands as well. The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songs and Snakes continues to have good legs, despite the fact that, you have all the fandom men saying the movie was a flop, without even factoring the Thanksgiving legs this movie could have. Okay, and the fact that the actual people who actually like the Hunger Games IP, not the fandom menace, actually like this movie. Okay, it isn't too surprising the movie is having pretty good legs throughout the Thanksgiving weekend as well. Again, I don't really care about this movie or this IP all too much. But again, if this movie does break even, Lionsgate might tell the creator of the Hunger Games to create another book for some weird reason so he can make another movie based off the Hunger Games. Even though I don't think anyone wants another Hunger Games movie or another Hunger Games book. So, because that IP is basically, it was 10 years ago, and I think people have moved on from the Hunger Games. Okay, people have moved on from this IP. Okay, Napoleon is having pretty decent legs. Consider the fact that, it opened to, it was supposed to be doing it was only supposed to open to like $24 million domestically. The movie's going to open more than $24 million domestically. Considering the fact that this is the 2 days before the weekend, before movies mostly make the money, which is the weekend numbers as well. The Marvels continue to not do too well. Even the Thanksgiving. The Marvels did have small drops, but it won't be enough to pull this movie over $100 million domestic. Okay? This movie dropped so hard. They dropped the ball so hard in this movie that it's not going to make any money for our Thanksgiving. Okay? Yep, this movie is a massive flop. Don't worry, we will also still be in more movies, which means we'll still have more flops coming as well. But yeah, there's no interest in the Marvels at all. This movie might not even pass 200. It may pass $200 million global. But I think the MCU at this point is done. And there's a reason why Disney is delayed all the major movies. Is because of this movie flopping, The Little Mermaid losing money, Elemental losing money, Haunted Mansion losing money. Okay, Dial of Destiny definitely losing money. The Creator and Haunted Advance both losing money for Disney. So Disney is really stuck in this hard place where they can't get out because no one is interested in the movies. They're also talking about superhero fatigue. There's so much superhero fatigue that Spider-Man, people buying PS5s just to play Spider-Man, which isn't really a, great decision, but hey, they were so upset at Spider-Man on TikTok and mocking people who had the Xbox and Switch because you can't play Spider-Man on the Switch and Xbox. Well, can the PS5 play Mario? No, it cannot. And once you want to pirate the game on this PS5, then go ahead. It's not legal. You can go to jail for that. But if you would want, that's the only way you can play Mario is by pirating the game on the PS5. I don't think PS5 allows you to pirate games. It's really on unauthorized software you can pirate games on the PS5. But Spider-Verse did really well earlier this year as well. And also manga continues to do well, and anime continues to do well. Shonen manga, which is basically like it's basically Japanese superhero stories. Basically, like, yeah, Dragon Ball is basically a Japanese superhero story. That's a right example. But yeah, basically it's about a hero that saves the day from an evil villain. Yeah, those continue to do well, but not Marvel and DC. Yeah, this is, you have a character that people don't like, by an actress that people don't like. You have another character that nobody knows about, because Disney did not really advertise it. They put the TV show about Miss Marvel at the worst time they could possibly release it. They have a character that nobody will know about unless you watch that Doctor Strange movie that nobody liked. But yeah, there's a reason why nobody watched this movie, because you have a character that nobody knows about, that they relegated to a streaming only TV show. That they were so desperate because the actors strike to release it on TV, and no one uses TV anymore because everybody uses streaming now. So Disney really screwed themselves from that one. When they could have released, Miss Marvel at a time when Stranger Things didn't come out, or The Boys, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. They sort of released it, in like August or July. But again, I'm not the one who chooses the release dates for these TV shows, okay? Considering the fact that there are so many TV shows releasing around that time. It was the Prehistoric Planet TV show coming out as well. I know most people are not going to watch that, but you had so much things coming out at that time. Could have released it on a much slower month and had a massive advertising push for that show. Like She-Hulk, they released that in August, a much more slower month than June, okay? They could have released Miss Marvel on August, and the show probably would have done better. Okay, that is just my opinion. But again, they released this against the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. Okay? Which is not a very good idea to do so. Okay? And yeah, I know people don't really like the first Captain Marvel movie. Rotten Tomatoes will tell you that people, they'll tell you, oh, but people like that we rigged the scores to make sure the second movie has a good score. Yeah, no one believes that's it. Nobody likes this movie. That's why no one went to go see this movie. It's just that simple. Okay? It's just that simple. As well. Same thing with this. It seems that this holiday season, Disney is going to be the major losers. Okay? No numbers for Trolls just yet. But I'm assuming that Trolls is probably doing pretty well. Thanksgiving is also doing pretty well. Having pretty good ratings. Despite having Addison Rae in it, which is another person that people do not like. But again, either way, this movie should be able to make money at the very end of the day, and this movie continues having good ratings, as it is doing. Considering the fact that this movie is doing pretty well throughout the Thanksgiving weekend, this movie is holding pretty well. So yeah, good timing for whoever released it, for the people who made this movie, that, yeah, the movie wasn't going to have a good opening, but they knew that this movie would do well over Thanksgiving weekend, and the Thanksgiving day, and the day before Thanksgiving, with the two major days for the box office as well. So, major props for them releasing this. Will this eventually break even? We'll wait to see. And that's about this video here. Goodbye.